Hello, women, children, men, boys, girls of all ages. Welcome to today's scheduled programming where I, your host, Tanner, will be working on this Subaru. In the last video you guys saw, we got the rotated kit kind of started over here, all right? We got our turbo right there, we got our intake, we got all that fun stuff. Now, in the end of the last video, you'll saw that I messed up the up pipe. I put the external wastegate in the wrong spot, and I cut it and I went to go fix it, and I couldn't get it back to where it needed to be. The turbo ended up being in a completely different spot than where it should have been, so I went back, I completely cut it off, I started over from scratch, and I'm a lot happier with this up pipe than the last one. So, and I made a little bit of progress on the down pipe. So today we're gonna get some more progress made on the down pipe, hopefully get it fully welded out, not welded out, but like tacked out and designed. I have a stock down pipe that I can kind of mimic from the cat back forward. We're doing a two-piece down pipe, so the pipe that comes off the turbo will go down underneath of the car and then go to a V-band, and then there will be another V-band that goes to the actual cat back itself. To get things started, the first thing I'm gonna do is go ahead and get the WRX up in the air, get the rest of the cat back portion thrown on, so that way we can see how far we really have to go to get this down pipe and this cat back to meet up, and then we can start cutting some pipe. Just to give you guys a little update, so yeah, I completely redid the up pipe. It's now 2 1/4 pretty much the entire way through that up pipe. I did push the turbo over just a little bit more to give us a little bit more clearance to get a 90-degree coupler underneath that manifold there, and then as you guys can see there, I've got the down pipe started going down there, so we just need to keep going on that, get all this stuff finished, so that way we can have a fun rotated kit. But honestly, aesthetically, I think the engine bay looks fantastic with where the turbo's at for the rotated kit and everything like that. Because looking at other kits I've seen on the market, they either sit down crazy low, they sit up crazy high, they sit up crazy far back. I think that right there is literally perfect. So let's get this guy up in the air and get the rest of our Tome on here. Do, 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 do. I think I'm gonna wait on making the down pipe till later this afternoon, just because I think the smarter idea would be to wait until I have the up pipe mounted in its final position, like where it's got the support bracket and everything off of it, before we make the down pipe, because by doing so it might pull the up pipe forward maybe a 1/4 inch or a 1/2 inch or something like that, and if I make the down pipe now, it could throw off the measurement on the down pipe. So we're gonna wait to do the down pipe for a little later. Logically, that makes the most sense. So for now, I'm gonna jump back in the engine bay. I'm gonna get the boost controller figured out, the fuel pressure regulator figured out where I wanna mount those. And then once Amazon drops off that sheet metal, we can do that bracket and then do the down pipe. Logically, in my mind, it makes the most sense. So let's jump in the engine bay. So I got a spot for the boost controller figured out. It'll go right back there. I've got the 90-degree couplers that just got dropped off that go off the turbo, wrap around. I test fit this pipe here. This is the old Grimspeed pipe. I'll probably cut it at a little bit more of an angle, bead roll that, and then we'll do a coupler from there over to here where the other pipe's going to be. Clamps came in. I got the big dong secured underneath of the car. I need to move it back a little bit farther behind those AC lines, but sick! More small stuff taken care of. So now that Amazon has dropped off my sheet metal, I'm gonna go ahead and make a bracket to connect the up pipe to the engine. I'm gonna take turbo off. I'm gonna make this out of cardboard to start with, and then transfer that cardboard over to sheet metal. We're gonna have to go to the shop, make the bracket, come back here, test fit the bracket, align the bracket to the up pipe, and then take the up pipe and the bracket back to the shop, go weld it. It just sucks because I can't do my welding here. We don't have access to 220 in the garage. The panel is too old to add 220 in. The whole electrical system in the house needs to be updated. So back and forth to the shop we will go. We'll probably do 2 or 3 trips over there. So let's make this bracket out of cardboard first. Make sure it all fits. Transfer that bracket over to this sheet metal I got, which is right there. And then we can get the up pipe secured and then move on to the down pipe. Perfect, so I got the bracket made out of cardboard right there. It'll mount up to the engine like that. It wraps around the pipe, it just contours around it, so that way we will be able to hold it in place and it has an orientation. Everything is still tightened down where it needs to be, so I'm just gonna take this cardboard template that I made over to the shop, transfer it to the piece of sheet metal that I have, which is back in there. So I'm gonna get a small piece of that cut. Let's go turn this into a bracket. All right, we're back, brackets in, and it fits perfect, and I'll show you guys that right after a quick message from today's video sponsor. Since I got the 04 STI, it just kind of drives like poop. It's got somewhat of a questionable history that some of that got brought to light for me. But one thing I'm gonna do, because this car does have 200,000 miles on it, is run some complete fuel system cleaner through the car. Now, I've talked about this stuff before. I use it on all the cars, especially the E85 ones. This is for pump gas. Do not put this in ethanol. But in between ethanol fill-ups, when I am using pump gas, I will throw this stuff in there to clean the fuel system out of any gunk deposits that might be building up. E85 is pretty corrosive. Now, for us, we're only using pump gas right now. But with that being said, and especially with a car with a questionable history like this one, this should help clean things out a bit. Step 1, pop your fuel tank. Pop. Step 2, open door, set down, take off gas cap. 3, open product. It's got a child safety lock, hang on. 3, open product and stick in fuel tank. You'll hear it glug down in there. Just let it do its thing and go in there. Super easy to use. Make sure you do have a full tank of fuel when you are doing this. I want to give a huge shout out to our friends over at Techron for supporting another video. Let's tack weld up this bracket so that way we can get the up pipe mounted, done with, and move on to our down pipe. I've spent my whole day on this bracket at this point. So I'm gonna grab our poopy little welder right there and just do a couple tack welds onto this bracket to the up pipe. I'm maybe gonna do one just to hold it in place where it's at right there, because it fits so perfectly. I do have alignment marks on it, but that can always change going from here to the shop whenever I go to align it back up, because it's bolted in, everything fits up perfectly. So like I said, I only wanna do like one. That is for mild steel. It will tack stainless steel, but it doesn't do it very well. And it also has splatter, so I don't wanna send a lot of splatter everywhere. I would say that's tacked up, and I don't want to keep doing it because I don't like using this welder on this. I think our tack weld is holding. It did. Perfect. Let's go to the shop and actually weld this thing up, because I don't quite trust it like that. So let's go tack weld this. I'm gonna clean that up. I'm gonna grind off all that mild steel weld that I just did, because that's not gonna hold. Welding's annoying. Not in a bad way, but it's like I was doing so good when I first started, because I was in a comfortable position. Everything was doing what it needed to be doing. I had the amperage set right. I was feeding in the right amount of wire. I wasn't getting too hot on anything. And then I got uncomfortable when I was welding, and I could not get comfortable again. And you can 1000% see it in the welds. Like the hardest thing for me isn't like heat control or anything like that. It's getting comfortable in awkward positions. And it's so annoying. Like, dude, I was doing so good right there. I was like, it looked like it was stacking dimes, and I started getting uncomfortable. I repositioned, got a little bit better, got comfortable, and then it all just went to shit again. I'm proud of that one right there, right on the corner. That one right there is the one I'm proud of. It gets quite annoying. Like right up there, like I feel like that's pretty decent. It got a little cold on the end. It was like perfect right there. No, that was the start. It got a little cold in the start right there. Someone mentioned color. I've been brushing the color off all my stuff anyways, with just like a little brush, just to take it out. I'm gonna Cerakote this whole up pipe and kit and whatnot anyways, but it's so frustrating, because as soon as you get it figured out, you go to reposition, you're not comfortable anymore, and then it throws everything else off. But our bracket is welded on there. I'm gonna let this thing cool down for a couple minutes. We'll jet back to the house, test fit it, make sure everything still fits. It should, because I tacked it in the garage, so that bracket did not move at all. Dope, dude, it fits so perfect. And look at this, look at this, look at this. You shake the whole car off that thing and it go nowhere. Let me toss the turbo on to make sure that everything is still where it needs to be. If that's the case, the up pipe's pretty much done. It just needs the external wastegate put back on, which I'm gonna wait till I get a little bit more of the down pipe done, so that way we can figure out configuration, so that way I don't end up putting it in the wrong spot again. So let me get the turbo tossed on here real quick. So with our support bracket in there, everything still fits beautifully, especially with the turbo and everything. Everything is still where it needs to be. So this is how, for at least me, I feel like this is the best way to do it, is one piece at a time. Focus on that piece, get that piece done, move on to the next piece. So the next piece for the up pipe is obviously going to be the external wastegate right here, which will probably go right about there. It'll have good priority, and it'll be kind of out of the way of everything else. And it clears the downpipe, which is the other big thing. So it is super dark again. I might keep going on this here in a little bit. I'm gonna go get some food, I'll be back. Salutations and good morning. We have daylight again, so that means I can actually see what I'm doing. So we're gonna jump over to some fuel lines real quick. I'm going to just buy the IAG fuel pressure regulator bracket for our fuel pressure regulator. It makes the most sense for where it's going. So what I want to do is just kind of make the return lines to that area, so that way that's just kind of checked off the list, so that way once that bracket comes in I can just mount up that regulator and then get the fuel system pretty much done with at that point. The downpipe I'm going to hold off for a couple days. I ordered a couple more mandrel bends, or I guess bends for it, like a couple 45s, couple 90s, just to make fabricating it that much easier, because trying to do like cutting pipe and whatnot, I can't cut pipe to certain angles yet because I'm still obviously learning how to do that. So we're gonna jump over to something I can do. Let's knock out some fuel stuff. So I got all the AOS lines hooked up, which is nice. One less thing to have to worry about and do, except for the two coolant lines. I need to buy little lengtheners or longer line for those. That's no big deal. I still need to get the lines ordered for the main breather ports that go to the center of the block, the crossover tube. Easy to do. I'll order those on Amazon. Fuel lines are set up to go back up there where the fuel pressure regulator is going to go. I already ordered the mount for it. I wanted to show you guys this nastiness. This is the AOS drain line after 1,000 miles. This disgusting. So I replaced that line. That's just gross. It's got like milkshake all over it. My milkshake does indeed bring all of the boys to the yard, and damn right, it is better than yours. I also spilled milkshake on the ground. It's kind of gross. Next up, I want to get the iWire grounding kit done with. So we'll take all of these ground wires, send them to their homes, wherever they're going to go. That's one less thing to have to worry about getting this thing started. It's just like all the little shit that I'm trying to knock out right now for what I can, because obviously I had to order a couple small things, but sick. Oh, and I got this cool Grimspeed radiator shroud. Shout out to Grimspeed for sending that over. It's got a little tool tray in here, and it eliminates the radiator stays, and this becomes the radiator stay. So this is actually really cool. So sweet. Thank you, Grimspeed, for sending that over. That's awesome. Now let's get that grounding kit hooked up. Sweet, grounding kit and everything like that is in. This is a tight fit with the Process West, just because how far back it sits. We just have a lot of stuff going on back here with that AOS. I think I'm gonna try to figure something out with the AOS to push it toward the passenger side, just like half an inch or so, just to give us enough clearance. Because as you guys can see, I had to rotate the throttle body 180 degrees. Or like 90 degrees. I don't know if I can do that. I remember seeing something, because I'm not using the coolant lines, but I remember seeing something a long time ago saying that you can't do that for some reason. So I'm gonna have to look into that just to double check. If that's the case, I'm gonna have to figure something out with that AOS to just move it to a different spot. But dude, engine bay is looking good. It's getting there. The downpipe, once we get the last of the raw materials in, I can finish making the downpipe. The turbo is in his home. I gotta move him up. It's not fully tightened down yet. Still have to do the oil feed, oil return for that. The downpipe, the intercooler piping for just coming off of the turbo to right here. And aside from that, then it's pretty much ready to start and run. But that is all I've got for you guys on this one. It is New Year's Eve, so I need to go do family stuff. There's a live stream later that I gotta go do. So with that, I'm hopping off. So we'll get the downpipe made, the last of the little stuff hopefully done this week, get that WRX started by, my goal is Friday, get it running. Hopefully we can make that goal. I think we can. I don't see why we can't, but anyways, if you guys like the video, you know what to do. Go and hit that like button, turn a black, blue, green, yellow, purple, silver sign, whatever color it turns for you. And if you're not already subscribed to the channel and you want to be, one of these corners, no idea which one it'll be in quite yet, but with that, I will catch you guys in the next one. So have a fun, safe, and a happy new year. So peace out, homies.